Hello again. This was actually bought for me for a Christmas present, so thank you very much for the Christmas present. And it comes with instructions and a bag of bits. So what is this? It is a funky drummer. It's a electronic drum kit. It's got two bits of paper here printed on one side, there we go, with all the instructions we need. So let's have a look at the parts that we've got. First of all, the circuit board. So, funky drummer, it says across the top, version 4.0. There we go, see a bit better now. So these are the touch pads that you can do the drums on, I presume. You've got a demo button, control, record. Oh, I presume you can create a beat, record it, then play it back. Tempo, volume, and we've got a shift minus and a control plus. Okay. So what's we got on here? Got an IC to go on, audio out, couple of ICs by the looks of things. A regulator needs to go in there, and the power there as well. So what is it? Double-sided board? Yes, a double-sided board, but still through hole. So we should be all right. As regards the parts, okay, so it looks like we'll need the component tester. For the resistors, we have a socket for that IC, but this IC, it looks like there isn't one. Is that a 555 timer? Let's have a quick look. Bring in my magnifying glass. What is it? No, it's an MPC 4921, whatever that is. So it's not a timer as I thought. Oh, just spotted. There we go. We've got a IC holder as well, so let's pop that in there. Good. Okay, so 9-volt power. We've got resistors here and here, so I need to see what all these are. Capacitors should be all right because they'll be marked. More resistors. Is that a diode or an inductor or something there? Okay, let's, oh, there's a regulator. Or the, yeah, it's a regulator. These are the feet that goes on it. Right, okay, so where's the other resistor? There it is, right, okay. I've isolated those on purpose because we need to check what the values are, and it does actually tell us in this instructions here the resistor values that we've got there. Does the other one tell you how many of each we've got? No, that's actually the operating instructions. Okay, so right, so this kind of does R1, R2 is 10k, R7 is 10k, so it's 3 of those. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try and sort out which resistors are which. Right, I've got my tester, and what I've done is I've just put a couple of wires in there which are connected to a couple of crock clips, and I put the crock clips on here just so it's easier to hold the resistors and test them at the same time. I've got my pen so I can write the value down. So let's do the first one, shall we? So there's 3 of these, which we'll see what they come out at. So these will be, so 10k. So let's write that on there. $10k. Okay, so this next one, there's 4 of these. Test this one. these are, when it tests it, 1064, so I'm going to go with uh, 100. So there's 1K for 4 of, so I'm going to say that they're 1K. Okay, and the next one. Okay, so this one is, of course, people who are not colourblind like me who are able to read the colours. Unknown part, that's good. Why is it an unknown part? Is it on properly? Okay, let's try that again. Da-da-da-da-da, 70. Okay. Now I'm going to say that that one is, well, this is R6, which is 47. That's the closest to 70, so I'm going to guess it's that one. Yeah, R6 is 47. So I'm just going to put number 6 on there. It's always difficult because these kits, they never really give you exactly what it is, so don't panic if they are slightly different like these, because obviously things change. What's that one? 174. I'm going to go with R5, which is 150. So that's a number 5. Now, some of you are probably going to be screaming at me saying that these are wrong, but I can only do what I can do. This one is 147. I've already done R5 at 150, which was that one. But 147 is a lot closer, isn't it? Alright, I'm just going to leave that one there for a second. What's this last one? Five. Well, again, I'm going to have a guess on that one. It's going to be R4, which is 470. So let me put a 4 on that one. Right, okay, let me just double check these two again, because I said that that one was R5. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just tick these off the bit of paper. So 10K, we've got 3 of those, which are those there. So 1, 2, 3. The 4 of we think is 1K, because we've got 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, number 4 we think is that one there. And this one here was number 6, wasn't it? We guessed that was 6, which was the 47, which leaves us a 100 and a 150. So I reckon that that one that we haven't marked up which was, I think, 147, wasn't it? Oh no, that's going to 110, so I'm going to guess that's the 100, which is number 3. So I'm going to stick a number 3 on there. I'm just going to double check this one, which we think is our 5 at 150. So just double check this one. Bit of a long process, but it's well worth sorting all these out to make sure it's right. Oh, try it again. .161, yeah, 150, 161 is going to be our 5, so yes, I was right. So there we go, that's all the resistors done. So we can clear that off. We've now marked the resistors, that's okay, so we can now start to solder. So we've done this plenty of times before, so what I'll do is I'll show you just the first couple of resistors and then we'll come back in a minute when I've done the rest. So what I'll do is I'll pick up a resistor, so let's pick up R4, and R4 by the looks things just goes up the top there, so yep, definitely number 4, and they're not polarised, so it doesn't matter which way around they go, but we can stick R4 in there. Like so, turn it over, pull the legs apart, and we'll solder up. Right, I've just repositioned it slightly and I've got my magnifying glass out, hence the circle there. Let's just clean the soldering iron tip and we're ready to solder. So, warming up the leg first of all, and then push the solder in, and just leave the heat on slightly so it soaks all the way through. And there we go, that's that done. Next thing we do is we'll just chop off the excess legs. There we are. And that's our first resistor on. Okay, I'll put that in the holes in the circle so you can see it just there. Right, that's that one done, so all I've got to do now is the rest. Right, that's the resistors done, got them all down nicely. So we're also going to do some more components which I'll load down to the board. And then next we're going to do these small round disc capacitors. Now there's 3 of these, they're all the same. And looking at the paperwork here at the side, C4, C5. So C4 is in the middle there. And we'll just bend those legs out to the back. And C5, which is next to the resistors just there. Let's bend the legs again at the back, and C9, which is just at the side here. Okay, that's that one in. Right, let's get them soldered up. Right, we've got another capacitor here. This looks slightly different, but again it's not marked plus or minus on it, so that goes in C6, which is up there. Okay, so I'm telling you wrong. I just realised that this is marked plus and ground, and I've got them the wrong way around, so I need to remove the solder from here, and we need to put this in again. So I'm just cleaning the head of the soldering iron. Right, let's get rid of the solder. Right, let me just pull that out and I shall show you. Right. Okay, let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Okay, so I'm zoomed in. So as you can see, hopefully you can see, there's a, oh, sorry about the flashing. So on there's a plus on that capacitor. Right, hopefully you can still see. So there's a plus on it just there on this side, and on the circuit board there's a minus sign there. So this is the wrong way around. That should actually be, he says, come on, out you get, what's stopping it? Oh, a blob of solder. There's a blob of solder on there. Right, can I clean that off? There we go. So let's turn that round. I need to bring the magnifying glass in this so I can see what I'm doing. Right, so the plus needs to go that way, so it needs to go the opposite way around. That way around. Right, as before, let's solder that up. Here we go, it's got that done. Okay, what's next then? Well, I think what we'll do is, because we're getting a bit full around here, around the IC, and there's an IC there as well, I think we'll put the two IC holders on next. So let me just grab it. Right, so the IC holder is here, and just like before, there's a little cutout on the end here, and that matches up with a little cutout on the circuit board there. Right, let's see if it goes in first time without straightening up the legs. Hey, it has. Great, so what we need to do now is get our solder. So we need to put a dab of solder on the soldering iron and a dab of solder on the first pin just there. Another dab of solder on the last pin, and that will just hold it in place. We can double check to make sure it is flat on the board, which it is. Then we can solder the rest of the pins up. Right, next thing then is the capacitors. Now, according to the instructions here, we've got C1, which is a 10 UF. Okay, my eyes are not as good as they used to be. Right, what's this one? This is a, oh, that's good, 10 UF. Okay, so just to show you, by the way, on the capacitors, we have a marking on them, which is this shading area here. If you look at the other side, there isn't any, and that is the ground, and which is also, by the way, the short lead, and the long lead is the plus. So short lead is a ground and the long lead is a plus, and it should be marked on the board as well. So we're looking for C1, and if we look on here for C1, it's got those two lines which I'm going to presume is the ground, because they're one side. Let's have a look at, yeah, so there's a C3 up there, and that's got a line on the right hand side. So I'm going to say on this one, the C1 and C2, is that the ground is in the middle. And after saying that, I nearly got it the wrong way around. Okay, so pop that in there. Okay, and after that, I just put it in the wrong slot. So let's do that again. So that should be C1. It should be that one with the ground in the middle. Okay, C2 is 100 UF, and that's a 220. That is 100 UF. Just double check that. Yep, that's 100 UF. And again, long lead is a positive, short lead is the negative, or the ground, short lead in the middle. Okay, that's them two done, so let's solder them two up. Oh, and while I'm at it, I will do C3 and C8 as well. C8 is over there, C3 is, so C3 is there, look, and C8 is there, so I'll do them two at the same time. Right, we're getting there, we're nearly finished. We've just got a few more components left. So at the top here, we've got a couple of components that we can do next. We've got the transistor. Now, as you can see by the pattern on the screen, the pattern on the board, the transistor has to go a particular way. It's difficult to show you end on, but the transistor is actually that shape with the rounded corners and the flat side. So that will go in. Just stretch those legs out a little bit. So that has to go in the same way. There we go. Put that in there. And next to it goes another capacitor, but this is just like a flat capacitor like this. Again, it's not marked plus or ground, so we can put that in any way around. And we'll just bend the legs the other side. Okay, that's done. Let's get that soldered, those soldered up. Just be careful of the legs of the transistor, by the way, because they're so close. It might give you a solder bridge. But let's give it a blast. Okay, next we need to do the strange looking one, which is this black one here, and this is a ferrite. Ferrite, is that the correct way to pronounce it? Rod, which goes just there where it says ferrite on the board. And I'm probably annoying everybody by pronouncing it wrong, but I don't mind. Just plug that on there like so, and solder it in place. Right, next thing I think we'll do is this regulator, which goes in here. Now, by the looks of things, this needs to be touching that Must be like a heat sink on the board just there. So we need to bend this. So let's get the lug those pliers out and bend this, I reckon, so that's got to sit like so, so it's just on the top end of that leg. Like so, there we are, that's got that in place. Now it's not come with a nut and bolt. I'm just wondering if that does need to be soldered down or something, but you won't be able to get to it to solder it down, so I have to make sure that is nice and flat when we solder it in place. So I'm going to keep my finger on there. So I'm holding my finger at the other side to keep it nice and flat. I'm just going to touch the solder just to hold that leg in place like so, and that will allow me to solder the other legs in. Okay, that's that done. That's nice and flat, not going to go anywhere. And we can chop that legs off as well. There we go, it's got that done. Right, we're left with just a couple of components. On here we've got the LED, and that shows a circle with a flat on it. It's going to be very difficult to see end on with this LED, but on the LED on this short leg there's a flat on it on this side. So even if you don't know which is the plus or which is the ground, just have a look on the actual end view of this. All the way around there is round, and then this side here is flat, so we can put the flat to the flat on there. So let's put that in place. There we go, I can solder that up. Okay, let's got that one done. Just going to reflow that leg just that side. Here we go. Yep, that's looking okay. And what else do we need to do? We've got the power connections, the audio, the switches. Anything else this side? Not by the looks of things. I think everything is now just down to the switches. So switches should be fairly easy. These are all the same. You just line them up, pop them on like that. They hold themselves in place, and we solder the other ends in. So let's do that now. Right, okay, we're almost there. Let's put on, so what we've got power, which can go there. Now we probably won't use power, we'll probably use the battery connections which are here, but we'll just, we might as well solder them on while we've got the chance. I'm just bending these legs slightly to hopefully hold it in place while we solder it in. No, it's not going to hold, is it? Right, okay. Right, you've really got to flood fill those because of the gaps on them, but that's got that one done. While we're here, we can pop these in as well. So we've got plus on this side, and if I remember rightly, yeah, so the wire goes in from the underside, and you loop it back on itself, push it back through the hole, and then we can solder that in place. Right, that's got the power down. We can just pull them back through now. Here we go. So that's that done. So the only thing left now is the audio. So we're going to have to move the board in the holder. Spin that round. Okay, that was good, wasn't it? I think this is getting a bit old, like us all. Right, okay, so that's got drilled holes, so that should, yeah, just pop in like that and get the soldering going. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Okay, so that's got that done. It may actually be that all those pins are connected up now, knowing my luck. In fact, they probably are, but yeah, because that cable, that line goes up there, must connect to those, and there's probably the ground, yeah, going all the way around there. So there's a signal there. Okay, right, let's have a look. Right, we have it on the mat. I think everything's done. I know we've got to put the ICs in yet, but the switches are on, resistors are in, capacitors are in, transistors in, sockets are in, etc. What have we got left over? We've got a switch left over, which is fine. We've got the two ICs, which we've got to put on the board yet, and we've got some feet, but that's okay. So I think the first thing we'll do then is to put the ICs in. So just the same as the IC holders, we've got to make sure that pin 1 is right. If you remember the cutouts on the left hand side, now this IC here doesn't have a cutout on it, but you'll see that there's a dot in the bottom left corner, just there. That means it's pin number 1. Pin number 1 will always go to the left hand side of the cutout, which is just there. So that's the way that we need to put it in, and I'll bring my magnifying glass over. And that's nicely pushed into place. And we'll do the same for this one. And this has got a cutout on the left hand side, so we know that will match up to the cutout on the left hand side there. Okay, so the legs do need to be slightly adjusted for this one. So all I'm going to do is put it on the bench and just very gently rock it on the legs. Okay, that should just bend them in very slightly. And that's pushed into place. I hope you saw that. I'm just going to double check round to make sure there's no bent pins, and to make sure that it is fairly pushed into place. So there we go, that's that done. So I think we're ready for a speaker and some power. Right, it's been about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour since I recorded that last bit, and I've had to make a bit of a bodge up, so let me just explain what I've been doing. So I got one of my a speaker out one of my drawers. This speaker here is part of a kit which failed to work a long time ago. It's got a speaker in the front, it's got LEDs in it, and it's supposed to flash when the music is playing. It worked okay, but the other one didn't work, and I just chucked it in the drawer. But it's handy to use as a little portable speaker. That's connected to this cable, which goes to a 5-volt power supply. The signal cable goes to this sort of phono type, I think that's what it's called, this sort of connection. And you may be wondering what this box is. Well, this box actually isn't anything particular. It's a small headphone preamp, but the two connections is input and output. They're connected together, so the signal goes through the input straight through the output, and you can pass it on to something else. If you want headphones plugged in, you plug them in the front. That is connected to nothing. There's a power, and the power is not connected to anything. I'm just purely using this for a straight through for the audio connection. The other end of the cable is plugged into our little circuit board here, our little box, which is taking the audio out through the headphone socket. So basically what it's doing is connecting this straight to the speaker, but it's going via this in and out on this box. Okay, you with me so far? Good. Right, okay, so what we need to do now is plug in the battery. Now, I have plugged this in before, so I do know it works, but I had to do that because I had to test to make sure that it was coming out of the speaker. So let us power up the speaker first. Okay, so that's the speaker powered up. Now, when you plug in the funky drummer, it'll make a little tone on the speaker, and also the LED will flash. So light going out. Let's see if you can see the light, the LED flash. Okay, so the LED flash there. Okay, I'm going to put the lights back on. 3, 2, 1, watch your eyes. And the light is back on. As you heard, it made a little noise. Let's just do that again, so make sure you heard that. There we go. And we now know that it's working. How do we know that it's working? Because it does this. There we go. We have drums. It does a load of other things as well. So we have our instruction sheet here. So I'll put that to one side over there so I can keep an eye on it. Let me just change this slightly so you can see what's going on. Okay, so hopefully you can see that okay. There is a demo on this, so let's just play the demo first of all. You can do that by pressing the control and the rhythm button together. So control, there we go, we have sound. And you can stop that again there. And this one I found is great because it changes this pad here. Well, it did change it. There we go. So if you wanted that, we'll class it as a hi-hat. There we go. Right, what else we can do? Volume, if you want to turn the volume up and down. You can also increase and decrease the tempo. Now let me get this right. So if I go control and rhythm, okay, you can hear that all right. And I'm going to do the shift and tempo, and because the shift has got a minus, it should change the tempo of that demo slower. So let's start that again. I'm pressing those two. and that's changed the tempo. That's a lot slower now. Similarly, if we do the control which got a plus on it in tempo, it should make it faster. So let's do that again. There we go, and that's made it faster. Okay, so we can record stuff, we can play around with this. That's what's that? We have a chicken. Okay, you get the general gist. You can have all sorts on there. We'll leave it as that. I am not a musical person in the slightest, as you will about to find out. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the rhythm, and I'm going to play about with those buttons as well. So let's give it a try. So first of all, I'll slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you get the general gist. Oh, I didn't know it did that. Different rhythm. Ah, we can change the different demos. I'm pressing the control and the rhythm demo, so it's going to go through a that's got the chicken in it. Right, okay. Look, there's loads you can do with that, and I am sure my grandson will have hours of fun annoying us with that. So there we go. That is the funky drummer made, and it works, believe it or not. Let me just disconnect it. There we go, and I'll unplug that just for safety. So there it is. That is the funky drummer. Let me just change the camera. There we go. That is our board. That's the flip side of it. Have hours of fun. I'm sure you will. Hope you enjoyed that build. I hope you enjoyed me not being able to play the drums in the slightest. If you like what I do, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Do it again. On the drums.